I'm grateful today to introduce to you Jordan Miles. Just turned 21 on the same day that Israel turned 70, and May 14th. And he was instrumental in getting a beautiful gift that Sister City made for the new embassy. And he got it, and he presented it to the U.S. Embassy. So we have a part of Brevard County over there, the first gift from the embassy. So today it's a joy to have Jordan, because his life has been turned around. He has been inspiring us. Bridges for Peace has invited them to come back this year to work another year. He's been there 11 months, and he goes back Monday, flies out Monday. Jordan Miles.
Good morning, everybody. So today I'm going to have a little presentation here on the screen. I apologize, I brought my own projector, didn't work out, how things go. It might be hard to see, but I'll be animated, I'll be loud, so you can tell what's going on. So, as Ron said, I kind of had a past with going away from the Lord. I grew up in the church, I grew up going to youth groups, I grew up serving the Lord. But, as time went on, I wasn't the cool thing, and I ended up going to parties, started drinking, I did a little bit of drugs, and messed around with women for a while. I just truly didn't think that the Christian faith or the walk was important. But I still went to youth groups, I was still a Christian, but the Lord got a hold of me one day when I went on a tour to Israel in December 2016. In that tour, I visited Bridges for Peace's food bank in Jerusalem, and I looked around, and I talked to this really pretty girl in there, and I was like, what the heck are you doing here? I was like, you're pretty good looking, why are you in this factory, it's pretty dirty, it's hard work. She said, serving the Lord, it's great, this and that, and I was like, okay, that's a bunch of garbage. Went to my mom, and I said, I would never want to do this, let's get out of here. And lo and behold, Lord got a hold of my life. Some things really changed my life in a matter of a week. And I ended up applying for that program to go serve with Bridges for Peace. It was only the Lord. I hit you with that bluntly. I was not looking for the Lord by any means at all. And when I visited Bridges for Peace Food Bank, the day after, I got the mugshot of my partner. He was in jail. So it was like this life that I had was just crumbling down around me. And all I saw was the Lord shaking his fist at me, saying, don't you ever say you never want to serve me in my land again. And he said, that's exactly where you're going to go. I was like, okay, I'm not running from the big guy. I understand. I can't do that. So I went and I applied and I got in. So that's how God really pulled me there. But what happened there is what really changed my life and set me on a new path forever. So this is called Jordan's Journey. This is my journey in Jerusalem, in all of Israel for a year. So since I was little, like I said, I grew up, my mom was a great mom. My family was a great Christian family. It's my fault that I fell away from the Lord. I grew up knowing about Israel, loving Israel. In this photo here, we have the mayor of Cocoa. His name's Mayor Blake. And then here we have the mayor of F.U.E.L, Israel. This was the birth of the Sister City program, which I had no idea what was going on. See this little guy in red, that's me at 8 years old. I didn't really know what this was about, but I was there since the beginning of it. And then here's a photo of me dressed as an IDF soldier holding the Israeli flag. So I grew up with this love and passion for Israel. I just didn't know about it. It wasn't developed yet. And then, here's me a year later. This is at the Bridges for Peace Food Bank when I finally got accepted to go work there. And then me as the web designer, which is my 9-to-5 job. So part of being part of the Sister City program, it's just combining two different cities, two different communities, and more importantly, two different nations to come together just to share ideas and be people together. So this is part of my host family in Beth Shemesh, Israel. They hosted me in December 2016, and they became my family. They called me the American son. We thought it was just 2 people. It turned out to be 13 people. And then once I became part of the family, it turned out to be 70 people. So I get to have this amazing experience with real-life Jewish family. Much deeper connection than normal people do on a tour or anything like that. I go over there once a month. We do adventure things. In this first month when I got back, I told them, hey, I live here now. So we went surfing. I took all the little kids surfing, taught them, a little bit about Florida lifestyle. And then here's 4 days before I left Israel. They would always take care of me, do all these things for me, but would never let me give back. I was like, let me do something. Take the trash out. finally they let me do some yard work. I cut a tree down, I dug a 200-yard trench for some piping to go in. I felt great, I finally could give back to this family. But here's the photo of some of the 60. So anytime there's a holiday in Israel, they invite the American son. And the rule at these gatherings is we don't talk to the American son in English because he must learn Hebrew. I don't speak Hebrew, so it's a lot of smiling and nodding, But I'm in there. I'm right here. I don't know if you probably can't see. It's very little. But to start these events, they name everybody. They're very celebratory on life. So they go, each name, they hold up their children, they all clap for them. It takes an hour and a half to start these parties. It's crazy. There's so many of them. So why are there so many of them? The grandparents who host me, the grandmother, she has 8 brothers, and they all live in the same neighborhood. They have wives, they have children, they have children, they have children, they all come together. And so it's just an amazing community, and it's all family. But some of the amazing adventures that I got to go on this year as part of being Bridges for Peace, we got to go into the desert. This is the desert of the Negev, but this area is called Timnah. And these mountains right here are the Pillars of Solomon. That's where they believe some of the first quarries were for the first temple. And you get to go on these amazing experiences to go see these things. This isn't something you do on a tour. We went and just climbed these mountains. I climbed straight up these cliffs. Just some extreme things. And I got to sit out in the desert that Moses and other famous Bible characters would have done. Same stars they were looking at, I was looking at. But the amazing part of this is we go out in these deserts and we have worship at night. We have a devotion. And then after that, they're like, all right, everybody go out in the desert and just pray. That was the most surreal feeling. I felt like Jesus in the desert for 40 days, 40 nights. Moses, talking to the Lord. It's like, there's nothing but you and God and rocks. And it's really such a crazy feeling. But I'm a big advocate for Israel. When I went over there, I thought it was a desert. Most people think it's just like dirt, sand, nothing else. Well, we get to go on these hikes, and as you can see, here's a river running through Israel with a lot of trees and green and flowers. You don't expect that, I went over there thinking it was nothing, and it turns out it's gorgeous out there. But the reason we were going on these hikes is we did the Jesus Trail. So the Jesus Trail is a 4-day hike from Nazareth to Capernaum. It's the trail that Jesus walked preaching the gospel. So that blew me away. But that's a really, really long hike, so they had to prepare us with 3 pre-Jesus Trail hikes. So this is one of them, to make sure we are fit, able to actually carry our load and walk for 4 days and 4 nights. So here's one of the other hikes we got to go on before the Jesus Trail. This is the outskirts of Jerusalem. These are some things you never get to see or do on a tour. And you never even know Israel was like this if you didn't have that time to go live and just see these places. So here's a river again. I don't know, most people only think of the Jordan River. Well, this is a river from Jerusalem down towards the Mediterranean. And here's some of the landscape. Like I said again, I'm a big advocate for saying it's not a desert. There's plenty of green out there. So this is a pretty amazing hike we got to go on. This is that 3rd hike we did before the Jesus Trail. This is the Mount of Olives on the left, and to the right is the Temple Mount. This is called the Kidron Valley, and the hike ended at the plot of land where Judas killed himself, where he hung himself. So it's just crazy. You don't hike through the Kidron Valley when you go on a tour. These are some places you never get to see unless you live there. And I get to share about it. This is amazing. These olive trees, the root systems are over 2,000 years old. Those roots would have seen Jesus. It's just crazy to think about. 200-year-old America, 2,000-year-old olive tree. And so this is the beginning of the Jesus Trail. This is in Nazareth. You see my big backpack I have on it. Had everything, my hammock, my sleeping bag, my tent, my food, my Bible, my clothes, everything. Carried that for 4 days, 4 nights. But it was an amazing adventure, walking the exact same trail that Jesus would have walked himself as he preached the gospel. And this guy, Jesus must have done it several times. I'm saying that he had to be fit. This was no just walk in the park. And this is the first place we camped at. And now I always like to emphasize on the greenery there. There are flowers up to my chest, just growing wild with this olive grove. This is the first place we camped at. That night I took my hammock, I went to an olive tree and a tractor. And it was the middle of a farm, so we woke up 4 in the morning to roosters and donkeys, everything. It was a one heck of an experience. And so here's the end of the Jesus Trail. In this photo here, I'm on top of Mount Tubal, overlooking all of the Sea of Galilee. And then in this photo, this is our campsite on the Sea of Galilee up in Capernaum. And in this photo, I'm playing soccer with this Arab family. It just started out of nowhere. This kid kicked a soccer ball at me, I kicked it back, his cousins came in, his brothers came in, my volunteers came in. Played soccer for like 2 hours with these people. And then I went to the bathroom, I was like, all right, done playing, done. And then I came back and his family's like, come, sit. I said, okay. So I sat down, they bust out chicken, lamb, steak, falafels, pita, hummus, and they say, eat. Okay. So I started eating, I was grubbing. And then all my volunteers were like, what the heck, we're hungry too. So they swarmed around me like, what you eating? I was like, food. So we all just started eating together. And this Arab family didn't speak any English, you know, so the only communication we had was like smiles, you know, we said thank you over and over again. We tried saying thank you in Arabic, like shukran, shukran. And, you know, when you camp, and, you know, those people next to you kind of like make a wall, we had a physical wall between our two campsites. And it was amazing to see because we were like, what the heck are we doing? We kicked down our wall, invited them over into our campsite, and then we prayed the name of Jesus over our food, told them what we were doing beforehand, and then we shared some of our food with them. You know, it was just such an amazing experience of sharing the love of Jesus to these people who have no knowledge of him. And it was just, it blew me away how open they were. And I hope, you know, those seeds were planted that one day they do come to Christ because of something that we did. You know, and I'll start with soccer. It's just people being people. But other than the fun as well, you know, this is incredible to me. It says, Isaiah 61, foreigners will work your fields and vineyards. In this photo, I'm out in the hills of Judea, planting trees, working the fields and vineyards. I got to be part of prophecy. You know, that's a 2,000, 3,000-year-old prophecy that was written. And I don't know if he was looking at me when he wrote it, but I got to be part of that. You know, it blows me away how often things like that happen. But it's just such a blessing for us to do. Like, we got to go out in the hills of Judea and Samaria and plant trees, you know, like the Bible coming to life right in front of your eyes. This is awesome. So our organization is very well connected with the municipalities of Jerusalem and all over Israel. And so one of the head archaeologists of the city of David let us go and see this underground site that isn't open to the public yet. The city of David is the actual city that King David built. It's like 2 floors underneath a neighborhood right now. And so recently they were building a parking garage, they hit a rock, they called the rabbis and pastors, said, what's the rock? They said, this is the Pool of Siloam. The Pool of Siloam is where Jesus healed a blind man and where people would get mikvahs or baptisms to cleanse themselves before they went to the Temple Mount. Well, they knew from the Pool of Siloam to the Temple Mount there was a road. It was called the Pilgrimage Road, but they didn't know where it was. Well, lo and behold, somebody said, I'm pretty sure the Pilgrimage Road's under my house. They started digging and they found it. So this is the actual Pilgrimage Road, the exact stones from the Pool of Siloam to the Temple Mount. Without a doubt, Jesus Christ himself would have walked on these stones. And Zeev, our guy at the city of David, let us go and visit this place. You can see we have the hard hats on because it's still a construction site. We're 2 floors underneath somebody's house. There's a tread bucket machine going over our head and these big steel beams holding it above us. And we got to go walk on these stones. It was incredible to see. And then, they found coins all the time there. But this is the only pedestal on that pilgrimage road. This is a place where somebody can go on these stones and speak as the crowds pass by on this pilgrimage road to the Temple Mount. I guarantee you Jesus would have never passed up that opportunity. He most definitely stood on those and preached. I got to touch that. You know, like, not some stones that maybe Jesus touched. He touched that. Like, blows me away. It's still there. Okay, something awesome, very tough I did was I ran the Jerusalem Marathon. So this is one of the hardest marathons in the world. 30,000 people from around the world came to run it because all the proceeds for this run go to people affected by terrorism. That's a reality out there. They say that whenever someone is shot, stabbed, or murdered, that some 24 other people are affected psychologically by that. So all these proceeds go to like camps to make kids feel safe and all these places to help these people overcome this fear and this terrible thing that terrorism has created in their lives. So it was amazing that we got to be part of it. That was the hardest thing I did all year. So here's me running it. I look great. Yeah, no, I couldn't feel anything. But I finished. I got my medal and said finisher. Darn right I finished. I tell everybody this story. Why did I run this? all the guys in my group, we're all getting together, we're like, yeah, let's run this, you know, I'll run the 5K, I'll run the 10K. Someone's like, I'll run the full thing. I was like, no, I'll run the full thing too. Then I'll start laughing at me. They're like, oh, you can't run. I hate running. And they knew it. Man, I just got quiet. I got so mad. I'd wake up at 6 in the morning every day, run 5K, 10K, half marathon. So when the day of the race came, I was the first one to finish that marathon for my group. And I haven't rubbed this in their face, but I've told everyone that I've talked to about that story. But some of the outreaches we get to do, which is just a blessing to us, is we get to go out to see Holocaust survivors. Not their kids, not their grandkids, Holocaust survivors. Women and men who come straight from death camps, work camps, in Nazi Germany. And that is just so surreal. Whenever I go talk to these old men and women, they look me in the face, they put their finger on my face, and they say, you tell my story. You cannot let my story die. It's up to you. And that's heavy. Like, they tell me the most horrific stories, but for them it's therapy to tell the people, like, this is what happened to me. This is what someone else did to me. And it's terrible, but it's amazing to be there for them because it's just showing love to these Jewish people. It's really a great outreach. Oh, whoa, that's it? Hey, I'm going to tell you some stories about it. There's some of these women that don't speak a lick of English. I mean, none whatsoever. So, like, we went to this woman's 99th birthday party, and we were the only people there. We brought cake, and we brought drinks and whatnot. No English. She spoke Old Ukrainian. So old, my Google Translate couldn't translate. So, like, I was like, you know, it's amazing to be there, and all we could share was just hugs, smiles, and just caring for them. And it blows their mind. You know, someone out there cares for them. And then, you know, we do bring food, we bring gifts, holiday gifts, birthday presents, but it's not about that. It's just about showing love to these people. And man, they receive it. The biggest smiles on their faces ever. So that is such a blessing for us, and that is one of my favorite outreaches. But we also do food deliveries. So we feed 25,000 people a month out there. And this is me on deliveries with Marcus Pridgeon. He's from Titusville, so he's like my uncle out there. He's a great guy. This is actually us on our way to a town called Sderot. It's 5 miles or so from Gaza. They have about 15 seconds to run to a bomb shelter in case of missiles coming. And it's amazing how these people help the community. You know, I thought we'd go to some organization and they distribute the food or something like that. No, we normally go to like a couple's house, and they're normally like 65 plus. We go to their house, we bring them these supplies, and then the neighborhood comes to them. So it's amazing how the community still helps the community. It's like the older generation is still taking care of everyone, and it's just amazing how big of a family community that is. So here's one of my experiences I had on deliveries. We got to go deliver food to radioactive victims of Chernobyl, the big accident in Russia that happened years ago. I didn't even think that was still a problem, but these men and women are still affected by that. They have cancers and things like that from this radioactivity that they got affected by. And, you know, I was like, no one knows about this. When we go out, we bring them food monthly, and it's just amazing to see. Like I said again, it's like 85-year-old guys helping other 85-year-old guys. I was like, where's these young people? Where are they at? It blows me away. Ah, here it is. So this is a woman, her 99th birthday, and another Holocaust survivor. Oh man, she's too funny. She's like, look at these young guys around me. We got that out of her, old Ukraine. This woman, oh my goodness. She takes attendance when you come and visit her. So when you come, she writes your name down. If you come again, you get a check mark. You don't come, big X through your name. And so the rule is with Holocaust survivors, if they give you something, you take it. It doesn't matter what it is. You eat it, you do whatever, you take it. So this woman likes to give tomato juice. I hate tomato juice. I truly do. But man, I took that real quick. She goes, oh, you like it? I'll give you some. So I'm smiling because I'm getting a refill. But another surreal thing that's heavy for me, I'm in my 20s. My Jewish family likes to take me out and show me some things that you don't see on tour. You know, only local Jewish people know. There's a kibbutz. A kibbutz is like a farm, kind of near Tel Aviv. Right before Israel became a nation, they knew there was a war coming. When Israel became a nation, they knew the Arab nations were going to attack. But the British mandate made it illegal to have weapons, bullets, any guns. But somehow the Arabs still had guns, so they're like, we need to fix this problem. So they commissioned 20-year-olds to go to this kibbutz and work in a bullet making factory underground without anybody else knowing. This is now turned into a museum, but those 20-year-olds kept this a secret for so long. It was just found in the 80s. It was crazy. Somebody said, their grandson, yeah, I was making bullets in that day. And he's like, I've been to that farm. There is no bullet making factory there. Well, they went and discovered it and turned it into a museum. And it just blows me away how that was the mindset for these 20-year-olds. I'm 21, but they were like, if we don't make these bullets and these guns, we're going to die. My whole family, this community, we're not going to make it. There's a war coming. We need to prepare for it. But it blows me away the ingenuity of the people running this. So there's about 40 people on the kibbutz, and 20 of them went underground each day to make bullets. So, they had to figure out how to keep that a secret because the other 20 were not allowed to know. So in this photo, it shows a boy. They had to scrub all the metal shavings off their shoes to make sure no one got any suspicious. Also, when you're underground for 10 hours a day making bullets, and you're working on a farm, one of you is going to be tan, one of you is going to be pale. So they had to tan for 2 hours a day to make sure they looked like they were working on a farm. But there was only 2 entrances to this bullet making factory underground. One was the laundry machine. This woman and the baker, the other entrance, were the only 2 people above ground who knew what was going on. So to make noise, they're making bullets underground with these big machines, they had to keep running this laundry machine all the time. 40 people on this farm, that's not enough laundry to run all the time. So they went to the British and said, we'll do your laundry for free. So they did laundry all the time. And then, in the bed, this is it right here. It covers the manhole. The woman would push a button and it would move. And they'd go down, then it goes right back over. Then you see here, this is the oven. It's a big oven. It only moved 3 times in history, but that's where the machines would go down underground. And to keep this running all the time, so the smoke would be going up while they were making bullets and whatnot, they offered to make a bakery out in Tel Aviv. So they started pumping out a lot of baked goods. But that's just crazy to me. That was the reality for these 20-year-olds. My 20s, I'm worried about surfing and making money. These kids are worried about surviving, their family surviving, their neighbors surviving. It's just a big reality check. So another reality check here is 3 or 4 months ago now, Iran in Syria sent 23 missiles over into Israel. Actually, 2 days before that, we were up in the northern border of Israel. We prayed over Syria. Missiles came in. We're like, whoa. And then Israel retaliated and hit 65 different Iranian outposts in Syria. Well, because of that, the northern municipality of Israel commissioned British troops to take over 100 bomb shelters. These are bomb shelters that haven't been used in 30 years since the Lebanon War. They were disgusting. So we had the opportunity to go and fix 3. We've been fixing all of them since then, but my group personally, we went and fixed 3. And we would find the most disgusting things ever in this place. I mean, it would be trash. People would throw whatever in these bomb shelters. The plumbing didn't work. 1,000 cockroaches just playing poker out there. And the whole place was filled with soot. So we'd go in, we'd clean it first, and then we'd scrape the walls, have to plaster the walls again, paint the walls, redo the plumbing, and it was a mess. But the thing is, we would pray over each of these bomb shelters and say, please, Lord, make sure no one ever has to use these. Even though we did this and we put a lot of effort into it, we don't want anyone ever have to use these. But if they do, we're super glad that we have the opportunity to make this just that much more comfortable. A situation like that, we have tornado drill, hurricane drill, bomb drill. You know what I mean? To have that mentality, to be in a place, if you have to live in here for a day or 2, say a wartime situation, you want to feel at least that little more comfort of a clean bomb shelter. So we love being able to do that for them. And the municipality up there calls us their angels, saying, we can't believe you came out here. You can see some of the girls in my group that came out there that said, girls can't be doing this. The girls are some of our hardest workers, man. They love to do it. And that just blew them away. And so it's just amazing to show the love of Jesus to these people. And it doesn't make any sense to them. But it's starting to really plant seeds in some people that watch us do it. Okay, so this is also reality. So this is on that trip when I was with Marcus down to Sderot, right by Gaza. This is a rack of missiles. This is a rack of 30 that are out front of this police station, and that's only what's out front, not what's out back. That's just a reality. Okay, I said we have tornado drills, hurricane drills. They have bomb drills because that's a reality. And this is just some, and the reason why there's so many, these are $80 rockets. The rockets Israel's sending over are $80,000. So there's a big difference in what's coming over. But it's just incredible that these people have to live like that. 15 seconds to get to a bomb shelter. What do most people do? They just pray. That's crazy to me. They don't have time to get to a bomb shelter, just pray. And then here's a sign. This is a sign forbidding any Israelis into Palestine. The Palestinians can come into Israel. So when you hear apartheid state, really think about that. It's not Israel's the apartheid state. Okay, something amazing. We got to go to the Knesset. So for those of you who don't know, the Knesset is like Parliament. It's higher than the Congress, higher than the Senate. They're up there. And it's just incredible. Like, these people that are running Israel took the time out of their day to kind of just show us around. We got to go sit in. This is a committee room. We got to hear about everything that goes on there. We got to even meet some of them. So this photo, this is 2 Knesset members. This is Josh Reinstein, the head of the Christian Allies Caucus. I forget this woman's name, but she's incredible. She was like a farmer on a kibbutz. She's a really strong woman. Someone said, you'd be great in the Knesset. A week later, she's in the Knesset. You know, just incredible how she got there. But the honoring, like, that was so honoring to us, because it wasn't like 21-year-old politician. It was just guy to guy. You know, like, oh, you know, what do you know, they're excited that the young adult is there trying to support them. So he was excited to talk to me, and I was like, I want to talk to you. So it was just incredible how he came to my level. It was just super, super humbling. So this was nuts. This was 2 weeks of intense study. This is called the Institute for Israel Studies. This is everything about Israel and the Middle East. We had IDF soldiers, rabbis, UN workers, Knesset members, pastors, people working for like broadcasting news, journalists, all come in and fill us in on what's actually going on in the Middle East and Israel. That was a lot of information for 2 weeks, but I think I know a lot about what's going on there now. Okay, so this is just comparison. That's the United States. That's the size of Israel, a little blue smudge. And it's incredible. That's what's on the news. That's what's always talked about in the UN every day. That little bit of land, the size of New Jersey. It blows me away. So here I get to go explain. People say, oh, the Jews stole the land, or this, and that. Okay, here we go. So, first off, this is, okay, British Mandate kicked out the Ottoman Empire. They had this area called Palestine, which was Israel and Jordan. They said, we're going to give this to the Jewish people, Israel and Jordan. And they're like sick of everything that was going on there. There's a lot of just, debates and a lot of politics. So they gave it to the UN. The UN finally said, okay, fine, we'll give you a Jewish state, kind of looks funky. All this orange is the Jewish state. All the yellow is the Palestinian state. A lot smaller than the original Israel and Jordan size. So the Jews were like, sweet, we got our own place. All the Arabs were like, no, that's not cool. So after 1948, like I said, there was going to be a war. 1949, there was a war. Israel won, go figure. And they ended up with this. So they didn't have the Golan Heights. They didn't have Gaza. They didn't have the West Bank. They were content. The Jews were like, sweet, we have a land. The Arab people were not content with that. So in 1967, there was something called the Six-Day War. It was about 6 nations around them. All the Arab nations came and attacked Israel. Guess what? They won. This time they took the Sinai Peninsula, Gaza, the West Bank, and the Golan Heights. And before that, when the UN gave Israel the nation at that time, they bought that land from the owners in Turkey. People were like, dude, sure, this is a desert. There were no trees out there at that time. All the trees you see today have been hand-planted over 70 years. Now they want the land back. So this is what Israel's done since the Six-Day War. They've been giving land for peace, and it hasn't worked. Go figure. So 1967, they had everything. 1993, they lost the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt, said, peace. And then in 2011, they gave Gaza and some of the West Bank back. None of that has worked. I mean, we can see Gaza's firing rockets on the week, every week now. It's ridiculous. But that's what really happened. There was no land grab. There was none of that. The Arabs lost, and now they call that the Great Catastrophe. That's the Great Catastrophe year then, that they lost Jerusalem. But this is the pinnacle of the year. Coolest thing I got to do. Let me put this in context. My birthday is May 14th. Israel was formed on May 14th. Donald Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem on May 14th. And the woman that we commissioned to make this artwork, her birthday is May 14th. So all of it's about May 14th. Since I was little, I've had a birthday cake in the shape of Israel. It's like destiny. What else was I supposed to do in my life? So this is what Jerusalem looked like that day. It was a big party for me, of course. All through the streets, before party on May 14th. And all throughout Jerusalem, you'll see Trump is a friend of Zion. Let's see the next one. Trump is a friend of Zion. Trump make Israel great. Thank you. God bless President Donald Trump. You didn't even see that here. That's ridiculous. And this isn't paid advertising. This is somebody's house. They're like, yeah, you know, we love Donald Trump. People ask me, how did Jews feel about him? 90% love him. Okay, hang on, let me tell you why. So, why is it a big deal? Donald Trump just moved the embassy to a city, Jerusalem. Okay, so when a Jew is born, they don't view themselves as like a baby or even the 70-year-old nation of Israel. They view the 4,000 years of history, culture, and religion is tied to them. They're 4,000 years old right off the bat. So when somebody moves to Jerusalem, to the capital of their history, culture, and religion for the past 4,000 years, that is signifying that he recognizes all of that to be true. So for them, they're blown away and honored that he would do that. I mean, we finally kept our promise. It's Bill Clinton, you know what I mean? But what was awesome for me is in the Space Coast of Florida, on behalf of the Sister City program, we commissioned artwork to go to the U.S. Embassy. So this is the artwork with my mom and Ron Shelton, the founders of the Sister City program, with Mayor Henry Parrish in Cocoa, Florida. And then they shipped that to me in Jerusalem. And this is me, this is the plaque outside the U.S. Embassy with Donald Trump's name on it.
Could you describe what's in there?
So on the artwork that was made by this woman here in Brevard County, it's a Hamza hand, it looks like this, and she turned into a dove. So this is the head of the dove, this is the tail. And then right in the middle, it's Hey Yud, which is Jewish or Hebrew for peace, love, life, happiness. That's what we want Jerusalem and Israel to have. Okay, so this guy, this is Walter Bingham, coolest guy ever. He is James Bond, the man. He came to present my group, Zell's Project, and he told us his story. This guy was born in Germany, went through Nazi Germany, escaped Germany, went to Britain, joined the British Army, went through D-Day, volunteered to the front driving an ambulance. He won the highest Medal of Honor from Britain and France. Blew me away. And then this guy, he's super cool. He came to the U.S. Embassy to hear me speak. He walked there, and he was upset because they took away his Colt 45. So I can't believe he did that. It blew me away. But this guy, when he came to present, he used an overhead projector. And, you know, that's old school for me, you know, little thing, put the thing, mirror on the wall like that. I was like, whoa, let me help you out. It's 2018. So I took his photos, I scanned them, I put them on jump drive. Blew his mind. Well, we became friends after that. I went to his house. He's the world's oldest radio talk show host. This guy has his own studio. He broadcasts around the world. News about Jerusalem. And, you know, we just became buddies. He's a pilot, I'm a pilot. And so he came to hear me speak. That was super, super honoring. The guy's 94 and walked there. He said he's going for the oldest man in the world. But here's also my Jewish family, the kids that got out of school that day. And it was just honoring for me to have them come there, because that is what this is all about. This is to signify the relationship between the Space Coast of Florida and Israel, and that we support them. And this is about the two communities and these two people groups coming together. So it was such an honoring event for me, because I just got on the scene, okay? This has been going on for 15 years. Yeah, I was there from the beginning, but I haven't done much. This is just 1 year of me being there, and I got to present it to the U.S. Embassy. So this is me presenting, but this is me in a newspaper here in Brevard County. I was in 2 different newspapers, and it was just super honoring for me to do on behalf of everyone in this room and everyone in Space Coast of Florida. So this is all because of you guys. I couldn't do it without any of you guys. I am a missionary and I have to fundraise, you know. This is all because of people like you who donate to me. So it just blows me away how I've had such great support from Brevard County and how this is our product. You know, this is us showing our love and support for what Donald Trump has done and the Jewish people in Israel. So yeah, that was my year in Israel. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. But before you clap or anything, I have an email list. I send out updates. I'm going to Israel Monday, going back for another year. If you want updates about what's really going on, what I'm experiencing there, you can write down your email and I'll get in contact with you. I also have, if you know a rebellious or any kind of young adult needs to go to Israel to get his life changed, contact me, pick up one of these about the Zealous Israel Project. And if you want to know more about Bridges for Peace, what we do, I have other forms out in the back. So thank you guys so much for coming. You know, talk to me afterwards.
That list that Jordan just mentioned, is there one up there, Jordan? It's right here.
Yes.
So if you want to get on that blog and you want to hear what's going on, be sure you put your name and email. Thank you again, Jordan.
How much of your budget for next year do you have raised at present?
I have raised a bit, but I'm definitely still short for next year, so I'm hoping one there people will also continue to donate, you know.
Repeat that last year. Still short for next year?
I'm still short for next year. If it's on your heart to partner with me, please, you know, contact me and we'll get connected. I really appreciate everything you guys do for me because I can only do this because of people like you. So if you want to partner with me and tie into my ministry, please just let me know.
If you have questions about that and maybe how you might want to make a gift or a recurring thing, you can contact Sister City, myself. We'd be glad to help, or Bridges for Peace. We're all in and out, so it would be great. I sometimes wonder, you know, how the ministries, and I decided 2 years ago, I want to invest in the next generation. Otherwise, my heart will stop as far as Israel is concerned when it stops. And I don't want it to stop. And so I'm thrilled to death that there are people like this that God is putting his hand on for the next generation. Amen? Amen.
Say a prayer for us, Jordan, and have you
Say a prayer for me.
You want to pray?
But I will. You guys are always in my heart. So this started, you know, when I was in the Viera F.U.E.L meeting, but, you know, it's expanded here. So I'll pray for you guys real quick. Thank you, Lord, so much just for this meeting of great guys who are here just ultimately to serve you, Lord, and learn more about you and what you're doing in the world, Father. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to them and hopefully plant some seeds in their hearts. And as they go out, they tell more people about what you're doing and how you are always present. You don't have to go to Israel to experience you, Lord. You can be right here in Merritt Island, Cocoa, Viera, Brevard County, Lord. Continue to move in our lives and move in everybody that we meet, and just help us to share the love that you shared to us. In your precious holy name I pray, amen.
Amen. Amen.
See you next week, guys. Don't forget the pickle jar. Yeah.
I'll put the list